Bilbo met the guests and additions at the new White Gate in person, and El gave away presents to all. Hobbits give presents to other people on their own birthdays. Not very expensive ones as a rule, and not so lavishly as on this occasion, but it was not a bad system. Actually, in Hobbiton and Bywater, every day in the year it was somebody's birthday, so that every hobbit in those parts had a fair chance of at least one present at least once a week. But they never got tired of them. Hey, Tolkieneers, I'm Danny J.
And I'm Joel N., and welcome back to Keep on Tolkien.
Brr, 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 brr. And it's that time of year again, children.
Yeah, it's our last episode of this season.
Yeah, and it also coincides with the great winter holidays. Yay!
Woo, holiday season's upon us.
Yeah. It's very, very cold here in Minnesota right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's like -2 right now. I mean, that's not super, super cold, but it's bone cold outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very dark. There's no sunlight.
I think that's really the worst part.
That's way worse than the cold.
Yeah, it's just around here, it's really dark and cloudy all winter.
Yeah, sunset is at like 3 p.m. And it's just great, guys. So we're doing real great with without all the sunlight. We're not going crazy at all.
Not at all.
But anyways, yeah, happy holidays, guys. Yeah. I don't particularly enjoy or understand Christmas, which is the holiday that my family celebrates. But Merry Christmas, anyway, to you. Happy Hanukkah as well.
Yeah, happy Kwanzaa, or pretty much happy any other holiday that's real or imagined.
Yeah, which are just as valid.
Yeah, they're all just as valid.
Like I said, we both grew up Christian, so we were obligated to celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, that's what we're both pretty used to that.
Yeah, that's our thing.
But we don't want to exclude everybody, and we don't want to exclude any other creeds or cultures. So we thought we'd just kind of do the theme of gifts for this episode.
Yeah, because everybody in late-stage capitalism society seems to agree across the board on this one, that it's time to give gifts in the winter, right?
Right.
Maybe that's because the winter's so long and shitty that
What else?
like,
What else are you gonna do?
give somebody a present, cheer them up, you know?
So today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of the cool gifts that were given out by various characters in Tolkien's Legendarium.
Yeah. And without further holiday rigmarole, let's get to the list.
The list. Here we go.
I really wanted to start off this list with a bang.
Yeah, when I first reviewed over what Danny had going for this episode, I got to the first one and I just kind of laughed. Because, I mean, it's true. It's a really good one to start on.
It's technically the first gift given.
Yeah.
So, and that's the gift of death. And let's start with what that means. And this is the gift that nobody really wants to talk about. And we got to talk about the children of Iluvatar here.
It's the gift that people don't really want to have either.
Yeah. So, children of Iluvatar, elves, they're bound to the song of the Ainur, right? And they are part of the earth itself. They're more earth-made sentient than actually dwelling on earth.
However, men are not bound to Arda. Men are subject to old age and death, and this is called the gift of Iluvatar. Men are released from the world, and they're eventually free from its troubles and its bounds. And this basically dictates that men are free to create their own destiny.
That reminds me of that quote from Terminator 2, no fate, but what we make for ourselves.
Terminator 2.
Yeah. That's not in the original song of the Ainur. What if there was a whole section of the Ainulindale which is just Terminator 2 from front to finish?
It was such an important thing Iluvatar had to include it in creation.
Well, yeah, this is actually a gift. Like the sweet release of death is a gift. And they say such in the Silmarillion, so...
Yeah, it's actually quite a point of contention for the Númenóreans.
Yeah, and speaking of kingly gifts, or really dope gifts, what's next on the list?
Yeah, that's a good segue into the next thing on the list, because the next thing on the list is, in fact, the island of Númenor itself.
The whole damn thing.
Yeah, so let's talk about another gift to men. Probably even cooler than that sweet, sweet release of death.
So on Númenor. In the early Second Age, the island of Númenor was brought up from the sea by the Valar as a gift for the Edain for standing with the elves against Morgoth in the War of Wrath at the end of the First Age.
Yeah, so the greater part of those Edain who survived the defeat of Morgoth journeyed back to the island, sailing in ships provided and steered by the Teleri elves.
Yeah, and the migration took 50 years, and it brought between 5,000 and 10,000 men, women, and children.
Yeah, I know it's kind of a big gap, it's like 50 or 100%,
Mhm.
but these are the numbers we have.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's a fictional thing. So.
Yeah. And well, these Numenorians were also, as part of this whole gift of a new island, and a new start, basically, is their gift. They were granted the lifespan 3 times of that of average men.
Yeah, while most Numenorians lived around 350 years, some of the royal kindred could actually live for over 400 years. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and just a fun fact, that resulted in older age of adulthood, around 25 years in Numenor.
So for a long time, Numenor remained friendly with the elves, both of Erisea over in Valinor and of the ones back on Middle-earth. And we've got an excerpt about this. Then the Edain set sail upon the deep waters, following the star, and the Valar laid peace upon the sea for many days, then sent sunlight and a sailing wind, so that the waters glittered before the eyes of the Edain like rippling glass, and the foam flew like snow before the stems of their ships. Setting their course toward the star, the Edain came at last over the leagues of sea, and saw afar the land that was prepared for them, Andor, the land of gift, shimmering in a golden haze. Then they went up out of the sea and found a country fair and fruitful, and they were glad. And they called that land Elena, which is starwards, but also Anadune, which is western S, or Numenore in the High Eldarin tongue. This was the beginning of that people that in the grey elven speech are called the Dunedain, the Numenorians, kings among men.
Yeah. And I think that's like the coolest gift ever given.
Yeah, so I mean, really, they got more than just an island. They got like extended lifespans.
Yeah, it was part of a package.
Yeah, it was a pretty sweet package.
Yeah, it was a gift. And believe it or not, segue into the next one on the list here. It's not the first time that a country's been given as a gift in Tolkien.
I had never even thought about that till just now. That's a great segue.
Yeah, we're about to talk about another whole ass country that was given as a gift.
And that, of course, is the country of Rohan.
That's right. In a little bit of background on what Rohan actually is in Third Age 2510, an Easterling tribe named the Balak. Is that right?
I think so.
Balak? They invaded
Balkoth?
Balkoth? Yeah, Balkoth. So the Balkoth invaded the northern parts of Gondor, and they forced Gondor's army back.
Yeah, the northern men of Rhovanion at the time, who were now called the Eotheid, they rode to the aid of Gondor and turned the tide of the battle of the field of Celebrant, defeating those Easterlings.
Yeah, and as a sign of gratitude, the current steward of Gondor, Cirion, gave the depopulated province of Calanardon to the Eotheid, and they established the realm of Rohan with Eorl the Young as their first king.
Yeah, a permanent alliance between Gondor and Rohan was established after that. Yeah, that's really what established that
bond. Yeah,
bond.
They swore an oath, too, at that moment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in the years to come, Gondor had to contend with constant invasions of orcs in Haradrim and Ithilien, and the Corsairs of Umbar raiding the southern coasts, while Rohan was assailed by the Dunlendings and the Easterlings. And during that entire time, the only aid that really came to the two kingdoms was from each other.
Yeah, that was pretty much, they both had their backs, they're fighting back to back. Essentially, they're really trying to just keep enemies off from all sides. All right, moving right along the list. Let's talk about a set of gifts, and these are in the Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, so this will take place towards the end of the Fellowship, right?
Yes.
When they're going through Lothlorien, and they get the gifts of Galadriel. Of course, we've got to talk about the gifts of Galadriel. They're so important.
Yeah, and I picked the most important ones out of the bunch.
Yeah, because that'd be kind of a lot to go through.
Yeah, I didn't want to go through all 9 of them, so I picked, I think 3. But yeah, so let's get into some of the important ones. The chief one, in my opinion, being the gift she gives to Aragorn, which is the Elisar, also known as the Elfstone.
So, yes, Galadriel gives Aragorn the Elfstone, and that is a green gem that was actually made back in Valinor, and it contains the light of the sun. And all who look upon it see things that are old, but anew. And the stone was brought to Middle-earth by Gandalf himself, or at the time called Olorin, as a token to show that the Valar had not forsaken man.
Yeah. And he gave the gem to Galadriel and made the following prophecy. It is not for you to possess. You shall hand it on when the time comes, For before you grow weary and at last forsake Middle-earth, one shall come who is to receive it, and his name shall be that of the stone. Elisar he shall be called.
Some of those sweet Gandalf prophecies.
Yeah. And that, of course, is when Aragorn takes the name Elisar and is known as that from pretty much then on.
Yeah, and the elf stone becomes an heirloom of the house of Telcontar.
So presumably just went on to survive into the Fourth Age.
Mm-hmm. So another one of the gifts of Galadriel I wanted to touch on is the file that is gifted to Frodo.
Yeah. And this file is, within it is caught the light of the star Eärendil, which we know from our First Age history is actually just a dude named Eärendil, son of Tuor, with one of the Silmarils attached to his head.
Which really, really means that light that's shining from his head is actually
Light of the
trees. But the method by which this light is captured in the file is not specifically explained, and it actually was the cause of a huge debate in our book club a week or two ago.
Oh yeah, it was pretty rough.
It got really heated.
It got heated. Yeah. Do you want to explain the two sides?
So there were basically two arguments going on. So one of the people in our book club brought up that she was under the impression that the light of Eärendil was caught in the water of her fountain, which is explained in the text explicitly. Mm-hmm. And then she assumed that it was that water that was scooped into the file, and it was the water within the file that gave off that light.
Yeah, but I have a theory, because that sounds kind of goofy to me. So the vial is made of crystal, which is it's a craft of gemsmiths, right?
Right.
And the Noldor are known, like we just talked about the Elisar, right? Is another thing that
specifically made by Noldor.
Yeah, made by the Noldor, and it captures the light of the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just shit like that. The Silmarils do that too.
Mm-hmm.
These are all crafts of the Noldor, so I assume that the light was captured within the crystal vial itself. And the waters, I'm not saying the water's not for nothing. It's a cool bonus to have. I'm sure it has virtue of its own. Mm-hmm. But the light itself, in my opinion, is probably caught in the crystal.
I don't know. See, I was kind of in the encampment where I was like, why choose a file if you're not filling it with something that's worthwhile? So I guess I always figured that it was the water, especially after the excerpt from the text where she talks about, the light within the water of her mirror. I guess I just always assumed it was the water that was shining, not the file.
See, I think it's the light is caught within the crystal glass. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. If it's known somewhere too, also point us in that direction, because we haven't been able to find an answer for it.
Yeah, we honestly we looked so hard because this debate got so heated, really for no reason. But yeah, we digress.
But let's talk about the vial. It hugely aids Frodo and Sam on their journey through Cirith Ungol and Mordor.
Yeah, Sam uses it when he's fighting Shelob, and he also uses it to break the spell on the Watchers.
Yeah, and those are those evil magic statues that stood guard around the Tower of Cirith Ungol.
Yeah, so he used it to pretty great effect.
Yeah, very useful item. Very useful item. Also turns out to be very useful is, speaking of Sam as well, is his gift, which is the Box of Earth.
No, I was just thinking back about the file.
What now?
I'm kind of surprised that Sam and that they were able to carry it so far into Mordor. Like, at one point, I would have probably just been so thirsty, I would have tried to fucking drink it.
That's a good point. Why didn't they drink the water out of the vial? Because the light's not in it, so...
Fuck you.
That's how we know. That's how we would have known who was right if they would have drank it.
God damn it!
Damn it!
Oh, but yeah, moving on to Sam's gift. Sam's gift is a good one.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite gifts that she gives, and yeah, that's the Box of Earth, and she was given to Sam. It was given to Sam in honor of Sam and Galadriel's mutual love of things that grow.
Yeah, she gave him a small, unadorned box of dirt from her own garden. And there was also a small seed in there.
And it turns out later that was actually a friggin' Malorn tree.
Yeah, and Sam plants the seed of this Malorn tree in place of the old party tree, which, as we know from the Scouring of the Shire, ends up being destroyed.
Yeah,
when the evil men come take over the Shire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of symbolism in that, with the tree growing back even bigger than it was before, and just like him carrying that box. So the Box of Earth was a really cool gift for Sam.
Yeah, it's one of the things he carries all the way through Mordor and doesn't lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about another gift of Galadriel, and this one's actually I didn't know it was as significant as it was until recently.
Yeah, this one's really cool. And we're talking about the 3 strands of hair that Galadriel gave to Gimli.
Yeah, and it's highly, highly significant because it's actually a significant, a symbolic token of peace between the Eldar and the Naugrim. That their relationship had gotten so tumultuous.
Yeah, it had been sour for
a
thousands
while.
of years
Yeah.
at this point.
For a while.
Yeah, for ages, since the first age, it's pretty sour. Like,
Yeah.
they never really got off on the right foot to begin with. Like, they had a mutual understanding when they had a mutual enemy at first, but then things got way out of hand. So
Yeah.
it's been like that for a long time.
So let's talk about why is it so significant. So Galadriel's magic ass hair, careful with that hyphen, has within it the mingled light of the 2 trees.
Yeah, and this concept that her hair alone could capture the light of the trees drove Fëanor crazy, and 3 separate times he begged Galadriel for just a tress of her hair, and she refused him even one single strand every time. She was just like, hell no.
Yep, on 3 separate occasions. Nope.
Yeah, and then now consider the animosity between elves and dwarves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how Fëanor couldn't even get 1 strand of hair, and then she's just like, oh, sure, dwarf.
Here's 3.
Here's 3.
Yeah.
I'm
here's
sure
3.
Fëanor's probably rolling in his grave.
Oh, yeah. Fëanor's pissed. He's just a pile of ashes somewhere, though.
Fuck
He
that
kind
guy.
of cremated himself.
He did. He kind of like poofed and just like flew up into the air.
Self-cremation. What? That would be so cost-efficient if we did that. We just all burst into flames when we died.
That would be really
Yeah,
efficient.
that'd be sweet.
No more burials. No more awkward like open casket funerals or anything like that.
Just
like,
poof. Oh. Up into the sky. The ashes float.
So back to these three hair strands.
Yeah, so after the War of the Ring, Gimli sets them in stone, and they become an heirloom of his house.
It's kind of like a Silmaril 2.0.
Yeah, it's really, dude. It's like Light of the Trees, third, like tertiary Light of the Trees. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Caught in her hair, set amid a stone. But I like how this time it's 3 strands of hair set amid 1 stone instead of light set amid 3 stones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Kind of cool.
it's cool. Yeah, so it's essentially like Silmarils for the dwarves.
Yeah, and it becomes an heirloom of Gimli's house from then on, which is pretty cool. That's a hell of an heirloom.
Yeah.
Because that means his house has that now and the Arkenstone, right? Because that's Durin's folk over there in Erebor.
Well, his house, because he moved to, he started the Helm's Deep community, remember?
Okay.
After the war, Gimli started like
I guess when I'm thinking houses, I'm thinking of the 7 main houses of the dwarves.
Oh, no.
Because Gimli falls under the same, they're all Longbeards.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think he meant like House of Gloin, essentially.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
But hey, those Longbeards, though,
Hell yeah.
they're apparently rich as fuck.
Yeah, they are. They really are. Yeah, we found that. Did I share that article? I know I sent it to you.
Oh, about the horde of Smaug?
Yeah, it's like 20 times the GDP of the whole world or whatever.
Yeah. Well, one time we hypothesized, we weren't sure what the number was, and we said it was like the GDP of a country. No,
it's way more than the
it's
whole
like 10
GDP.
times the GDP of the world.
Yeah, it's insane.
All right, so let's hop on to some other gifts here.
Ooh, yeah, this is Joel's favorite.
This is an interesting one because thinking back on this now, I don't know if I approve of this as a gift.
Why?
Considering it's a sentient being. I don't know if you can really gift a sentient...
It's a dog.
It's a sentient... Okay, so we're talking about Huon, the Hound of Valinor, who was technically a gift.
Yeah, he was a gift. So, yeah, Huon, like we said, a sentient wolfhound, bred by Orome in Valinor, bred for a single purpose, i.e. hunting and companionship.
And this guy, they call him a hound because he is huge.
He's huge. It says he's the size of a small horse.
Yeah, because humans and elves can actually ride him, right on his back.
Yeah, and he's like the greatest hunting dog, like literally ever.
He's able to kill wolves with a single move, like neck snap.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like some John Wick shit.
John Wick style.
Just, yeah. He was given to Celegorm, son of Fëanor, as a gift from Orome himself during the Years of the Trees.
Orome being the hunter Valar.
Yeah.
And Celegorm, more than the other sons of Fëanor, was really into breeding hounds and hunting. So it was a pretty appropriate gift. Yeah, and that's something that they continue to do in Middle-earth after the Noldor first came back over the sea. That's just prior to the beginning of the First Age.
It was on one of these little hunts that the Sons of Fëanor were doing that Huon came across Luthien, And at this point, he becomes an integral character in the tale of Baron and Luthien.
Yeah, Huon helps Luthien rescue Baron from Sauron's dungeons, and he also fights and bests Sauron himself in wolf form.
Yeah, dude, that's like one of my favorite scenes ever.
Yeah, there's a prophecy that Huon could only be slain by the greatest wolf who ever walked the earth.
Yeah, and Sauron says, "Oh, cool, that's like me."
Yeah, and Huon just says, "No, not today, bitch."
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah, pins him down, is like, "I'm going to take your fucking skin." Yeah. Huon goes on to save the lives of Baron and Luthien several times throughout the story. But as the prophecy foretells, he is eventually slain by the great wolf Karkaroth.
Yeah, he's mortally wounded, and he basically bids Baron farewell as he dies.
Yeah, and then Baron dies, right? They just both die right there. And we got a fun little excerpt about Huon.
Now, chief of the wolfhounds that followed Celegorm was named Huon. He was not born in Middle-earth, but came from the Blessed Realm, for Orome had given him to Celegorm long ago in Valinor, and there he had followed the horn of his master before evil came. Nothing could escape the sight and scent of Huon, nor could any enchantment stay him, and he slept not, neither by night or day. But Huon followed Celegorm into exile, and was faithful, and thus he too came under the doom of woe set upon the Noldor, and it was decreed that he should meet death, but not until he encountered the mightiest wolf that would ever walk the world.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Huon's a pretty fucking awesome character.
Yeah, I love Huon, man. He's great.
He also gets to speak 3 times before he dies,
yeah,
too.
3 times. Yeah, the third time being, "I'm dying, sorry, bye."
Yeah, basically, goodbye.
Yeah, Huon's a debatable if you can give a sentient being as a gift, but he's a cool gift.
Yeah, he's a cool character. I love him. So the next item on our list of gifts here is the Nauglamir, and this is kind of
This is a gift twice over.
Twice over, yeah. Initially, it's good, and then it's kind of a backhanded gift. But so the Nauglamir, this is the necklace of the dwarves that was originally made and gifted to Finrod Felagund from the dwarves of the Blue Mountains.
And in those days, the early part of the First Age, the Noldor and the dwarves were pretty close. They had a lot in common, actually. They both loved smithcraft and highly revered the Valar Aule.
And by the time of the coming of the Noldor into Beleriand, in the beginning of the First Age, the dwarves were really good at metalwork.
The Noldor, however, were the fucking shit at cutting and shaping of gems. So much like a Crosby, Stills, and Nash type of situation, what do? We collaborate.
Yeah, so these dwarves and elves, they took some of the dopest gems that Fenrod had brought over from Valinor, and they set them in the dopest necklace that the dwarves could possibly craft.
Yeah, and Felagund, that was like one of his prized possessions. And he loved treasure, man. That was like he was all about treasure. But eventually, after the death of Fenrod, Nargothrond fell, and the Nauglamir stayed there in the Horde of Glaurung for a little bit.
That is until the coming of Hurin Thalion after he was let go from Angband. Hurin comes in and he retrieves the Nauglamir to again give it as a gift.
Yeah, and this is not the nicest, in the nicest nature.
Not in the good way of gifting. I hope nobody's planning on giving this kind of gift this holiday season.
This spiteful fucking gift.
So Hurin makes his way to Menegroth, where he basically casts the Nauglamir down at the feet of King Thingol, and he sarcastically says that it's a gift for the safekeeping of his wife and children, who are all dead now. So. He's like, yeah, good job. Here's your payment.
And if you don't get how hard that diss is, check out the story of the children of Hurin.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
The Nauglamir also comes heavily into the Silmarillion when Thingol decides to ensnare it and himself in the Oath of Feanor. And we all really know how that goes.
Yeah. Nothing good ever comes of the Silmarils, really.
Yeah.
So on to another gift.
Yeah. This is a very expensive gift as well.
This one's fun. So, one of the gifts we wanted to touch on is Bilbo's Mithril shirt.
Yeah. And it was actually gifted several times throughout its history. The origin of the coat of Mithril rings is not wholly known, but it is said that it was made for a young elven prince long ago, which I'm thinking might have even been a gift from the dwarves.
I would think it would have to be, because the dwarves were the ones...
They were the mithril guys.
Yeah, they were not only the ones known for having mithril, but they were also the ones known for making really good mail. So
yeah,
if you're making a mithril mail shirt, it was probably a dwarf. So Thorin Oakenshield gave the coat to Bilbo just before the Battle of Five Armies.
Yeah, he had found it down in the Hoard of Smaug.
One more good, indicator it's probably dwarf made.
Yeah. And Gandalf actually says in the Fellowship of the Ring that the coat was worth more than all of the Shire and everything in it.
Which says a fucking lot.
Yeah, it really does. And one thing that I didn't know is that Bilbo actually loans this coat to the Mathen House, which is a little museum in Michel Delving in the Shire, which is the capital. And it's got like all the historical like weapons and armor and stuff like that. Apparently, Mathen is a word used by hobbits for things they don't have use for, but are unwilling to get rid of.
Yeah, I suppose they really wouldn't have much use of a mithril mail shirt in the Shire. They don't do much fighting.
But anyway, that shit is just sitting in this little ass museum. Like, I'm thinking like National Treasure 3, Nick Cage comes and steals the shit from the museum.
Right, like, do any of the hobbits there have any idea how expensive that, like, I don't know if any of them actually know that mithril shirt that you have in your museum is worth more than the Shire and everything in it.
Yeah, dude. And
like if any of them knew that, everyone would be trying to steal that shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Or I wouldn't even want to be around it, honestly, because that's just like too much trouble's going to follow that.
Right. People are going to be breaking into the Mathen house trying to steal that shit.
Yeah. But yeah, Bilbo actually took the coat with him to Rivendell when he left, though. So it did stay in the museum for a little bit, but then he took it with him after his 111th birthday.
Right, because as we know, Bilbo secretly gives the coat to Frodo at the beginning of the War of the Ring, and this is what saves Frodo's life on several occasions.
Yeah, two noteworthy times. One is during Moria when Frodo is stabbed by an orc chieftain, and the rings of the mail are actually driven through his leather hauberk and into his flesh.
Yeah, so he's got like indents of rings in his flesh.
Yeah, so that's how hard he got stabbed. Aragorn just treats that wound up right away, though.
Yeah, pretty simple for Aragorn. And during the Scouring of the Shire, when Grima Wormtongue tries to shank Frodo like some punk-ass bitch, obviously saves his life here too.
Yeah, it actually snaps the blade right off in his hand too.
Oh, damn, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the mithril shirt, a pretty awesome gift.
Awesome gift. Another awesome gift given by the same person is the sword Sting.
So Sting is a sword that was chosen by Bilbo Baggins from the troll horde that they came across during the quest for Erebor. And the original user of the blade is unknown for sure, but Danny J of KOT Podcast has a theory.
I have a theory, and it is the theory that this is the childhood blade of Eärendil, who would have been a small boy at the time of the fall of Gondolin, which is the last known location before the troll horde. And it's also paired with Turgon's sword and Ecthelion's sword.
Right.
Why would this weird little worthless type sword be with them? No, it's because it's Eärendil's sword. It's super significant.
Super significant. That's got to be it.
That's got to be it.
So Sting was basically a dagger or a long knife with a jeweled hilt. And Bilbo most famously uses this blade to kill many giant spiders in Mirkwood during the quest for Erebor.
Yeah, and he actually names it Sting after killing his first spider with it. And Bilbo gifts Sting to Frodo, again, another gifting, to Frodo before the War of the Ring.
And Frodo uses Sting to great effect during the Fellowship's tough time in Moria. And we've got an excerpt about this here.
Suddenly, and to his own surprise, Frodo felt a hot wrath blaze up in his heart. "The Shire!" he cried, and springing beside Boromir, he stooped and stabbed with Sting at the hideous foot. There was a bellow, and the foot jerked back, nearly wrenching Sting from Frodo's arm. Black drops dripped from the blade and smoked on the floor.
Yeah, I think we also acquired from this excerpt that apparently the Noldorian blades hold up to troll blood, where some other metals do not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when Huron, for example, his axe like whittles down from the troll blood.
Exactly.
But that doesn't happen here. That's pretty cool.
The caustic troll blood doesn't affect this blade.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah, we know those the blades of we talked about this the blades of Westerness also are.
Oh yeah,
because Pippin kills one.
Right,
kills a troll with it, and it doesn't eat the blade.
So later, Sam uses Sting for many cool things, including making Sheila fuck the fuck off.
Yeah, yeah. He fucks her up good with it. He shoves it up her ass, and she leaves.
Yeah, and she skedaddles. Get on, get.
Moving on, Sting was given to Sam by Frodo after the War of the Ring.
One more gifting. So this is what, like the third gifting?
Yeah. And then Sam actually left Sting with his daughter Eleanor when he sailed to the Undying Land. So that's another
There you
gifting.
go. That's the third gifting.
Yeah, it's another gifting.
But
Yeah.
hey, well, that's an awesome gift, though.
Yeah, and it's a great fucking gift, and it's very friggin' useful.
Right.
And our next gift on the list actually here's a sword as well.
Yeah, on the subject of swords, let's talk about Anglicel, which was also a gift.
Yeah. And Anglical's a sword, and its name means flaming iron in Sindarin.
Yeah, and Anglicel is one of two swords that was made by Eol, the dark elf of Nan Elmath.
Fuck that dude.
Yeah, the other sword's name was Angurel, but that was stolen by Eol's son, Maglin, when Maglin and his mother, Eredel the White, ran off and tried to make it back to Gondolin.
Yeah. It can be assumed that sword is wherever Maglin's ass is, because Tuor kicked him off the top of Gondolin.
Right, yeah. You can imagine that's wherever everything else from the sacking of Gondolin
But
is.
that sword didn't make it into the fucking troll horde.
That's true. Yeah.
Why not? Because
I
it's
don't
not
know.
Arendil's.
That's true. See, we love to fantasize about how the swords of Gondolin got from the fall of Gondolin to the troll horde, because that's just crazy.
It's a mystery. So, the gifting of Anglicel, right? It was actually, this isn't really a gift. This is more of a payment. But Anglicel was originally given to Thingol as price for Eol being able to live in Nan Elmath.
Yeah, the blade, Anglicel, and also its sister blade, were both made from a special black metal that only Eol was known for, and this was called Galvorn.
Yeah, and it was created from meteoric iron that fell to Earth. Dude, I just saw an article that said they found daggers made with meteoric iron in Tut's tomb.
That is trippy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Because that's way before the Iron Age, right?
Right.
So, like, not only did they found iron, but it was a meteoric iron, and they made it into a blade. It's really cool.
That is really fucking cool.
But it said that that Galvorn could actually cleave all other earth delved metals. So I mean, it cuts through metal.
Right, that's crazy because that means it's going to cut through even dwarven mail. It's going to cut through shields,
other swords,
and swords and helmets. And
could you imagine like with fucking like touring with it?
Yeah,
you like go to like parry a blow or whatever, and it just
God.
goes right through your sword and cuts your fucking arm off.
Massively tall, strong monster wielding that thing as swiftly and heavily as he does. I can only imagine that would have been horrifying.
Yeah.
No wonder the orcs were all so scared. Now, during the story of the children of Húrin, when Thingol sends Beleg Cuthalion to go find his adopted son Turin, Beleg asks for a sword of worth.
Yeah, he said it's because the orcs are coming now too close and too thick for a bow only.
Mm-hmm. And the sword he has is no match.
No match.
So King Thingol basically says that you can take any save the king's own sword, Arenruth.
Yeah. And when he chooses this particular blade, Anglicel, Melian the Maya warns him against it. And she says that the malice of its maker lies within the blade.
But as we know, Beleg goes ahead and takes it anyways, because what the fuck does a Maya know?
Yeah, what does Melian know?
Yeah, just everything, whatever.
And we all know how that ended up. And if you don't, check out The Children of Húrin. We do an episode about it. We talk about it a few times. It's a fun story. Or check out the Artifact Swords episode to learn all about this sword in general. But we got a fun excerpt from The Children of Húrin about Beleg and Anglicel.
Then Thingol gave Beleg leave to do as he would, and he said, Beleg Cuthalion, for many deeds you have earned my thanks, but not the least is the finding of my foster son. At this parting, ask for any gift, and I will not deny it to you. I ask then for a sword of worth, said Beleg, for the orcs come now too thick and close for a bow only, and such blade as I have is no match for their armor. Choose from all that I have, said Thingol, save only Arenruth, my own. Then Beleg chose Anglicel, and that was a sword of great worth, and it was so named because it was made of iron that fell from heaven as a blazing star. It would cleave all earth-delved iron. One other sword only in Middle-earth was made like to it, Angriel. and it was made of the same ore by the same smith, Aol the Dark Elf, and he kept it until it was stolen from him by Maglin his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's probably one of my favorite swords.
That's my favorite sword, period. Yeah, I mean, well, it's between that and Narsil.
I just love Anglicel just because I also really love Galvorn.
Yeah, the idea of because the sword is so OP.
Right. If I could have my choice, I would have Dwarven Mail, Elvish Armor, and Anglicel as a sword.
Oh yeah, dude.
Or Angriel,
Yeah, either one, really. Any Galvorn sword.
They're just fucking crazy.
That's why, I can't imagine if they ever did a Children of Húrin series or anything like that. Watching Turin fight with this blade would be absolutely crazy. You could do so many tricks with it.
I think I'd actually prefer Gorthang.
Yeah, when it's black and when it's
reforged
it's glowing
and
it
shit. Glows, so it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
because Aol the Dark Elf made it with Galvorn, but then the Noldorian Smiths
improved
it.
Could be Celebrimbor too. We talked about that.
Yeah, it could have very well been.
Yeah.
So I think my sword of choice would probably be Gorthang.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the last gift on our list, guys. This is a cool one. Not often talked about.
Yeah, I was excited to talk about this one. So this gift we're talking about is the Horn of Rohan.
And the horn of Rohan is a silver horn that was given to Meriadoc Brandybuck by Lady Éowyn after the War of the Ring.
It is an ancient work of the dwarves, actually, and it ended up in the Hoard of Scatha the Worm. That was after the fall of the Grey Mountains. And Scatha, the worm, was actually slain by Fram, who was one of the men of the Eothad. He was actually the fourth lord of the Eothad at that time.
Yeah, we were just talking about this earlier in our warm-up. This is off script, guys. That story is really cool.
Yeah, that story is super metal because it's all because Scatha's hoard is all dwarfish. It's all dwarfish treasure and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got Fram, this Eothad guy, this Dane, who comes up and kills Scatha. Do you want to tell him what he fucking does?
Yeah, he claims the hoard for himself, which the dwarves aren't super happy about.
Not at all.
And then when they get all pissed off about it, he makes a necklace out of the teeth of Scatha the worm and sends it with a rude note. I don't remember do you remember what the note said?
Yeah, the note said something like, treasures like these are hard to come by, and you'll never find any of them in your hoards or something like that. Basically, I killed the dragon, I'm keeping this shit. Yeah. Good luck trying to change that.
Trying to get it back, yeah. Yeah,
it was very sassy. It was pretty fucking crazy. Yeah. I can only imagine it fucking infuriated the dwarves.
Yeah. Fram's one of those unsung heroes of that we should talk about sometime.
Oh, yeah. So after Fram takes his horn from the Hoard of Scatha, the horn becomes an heirloom of the House of Eorl.
And then, like we said earlier, Lady Éowyn gifted it to Meriadoc Brandybuck in honor of his deeds in the Battle of Pelennor. And also is a sign of their personal friendship, because they're war buddies, if you think about it.
Yeah, they're pretty tight.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time together not knowing him,
whether or not you're going to live or die.
Well, no, he didn't know it was, he thought it was Durnhelm.
They did spend a lot of time together as Durnhelm and Merry.
Yeah. And Merry uses the Horn of Rohan twice during the scouring of the Shire.
Yeah, the first time is to basically raise the alarm of the Shire and get everyone awake. And he blows the Rohan call, followed by the Horn of Buckland call. So
you can also do multiple pitches on it, apparently.
Yeah, he's a master with this horn.
Yeah. And the second time is after the Battle of Bywater. Frodo decides to go up to Bag End and see what the fuck is the fuck up there. And Merry blows the horn when all the hobbits are marching up Bagshot Row. And that's their "we're not gonna take it" moment. Dude, do you think he can play that on the horn?
That's what they're just bumping up the road.
All right.
Yeah, so ultimately this was such a monumentous event that every year in the Shire, after the War of the Ring, Merry would blow the horn on the anniversary of its first use during the scouring.
And this, of course, was followed by feasting and dancing and fucking partying, dude.
Of course, it's hobbits, man.
So Buckland was lit as fuck every fucking November 2nd, which me and Joel were talking about how cool late fall or late summer, or late summer and spring would be in the Shire, because you got to look at it this way. So end of summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
to usher in the fall, you got Bilbo and Frodo's birthday, which they're obviously going to celebrate
Always awesome.
no matter what, right? Obviously a party.
Oh, yeah.
And then November 2nd, down in Buckland, you got this shit going on, the whole horn calling business. And then a few days later, I assume that they're going to be celebrating the Battle of Bywater.
Right, yeah.
Up in Hobbiton and Bywater. So that's going to be a fucking party, too.
Yeah, because that's technically the last war in the War of the Ring, right?
Yeah,
so,
last battle in the War of the Ring.
So it's probably celebrating the end of the war.
The ending of the war in general, yeah. So yeah, it would have been, fall would have been fun time to be in the Shire.
A lot of celebrating, a lot of good times.
All right, guys, that's the end of the list we came up with. That was just a brief overview of some of our favorite gifts in the Legendarium.
Yeah, let us know if we didn't talk about all of your favorite gifts in Tolkien. Let us know what some of those are.
Yeah. There's a lot of them, and some of them are very important. But before you go, we have a little holiday bit for you guys. All right, yeah, in this little bit, we're going to call it A KOT Xmas.
Yeah, it was another collaboration with our friend and frequent collaborator, Joe Vaske.
Yeah, and he's the one that kicked cancer in the nuts, and he's doing all right. Obviously, he's writing comedy and shit. So, yeah, he's back on track. But we spent way too long writing this sketch together. So here it is, and hope you guys enjoy.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, except Danny and Joel, for they were recording their podcast late into the night.
That was a good session, dude. I think that episode will be fine.
Yeah, it's probably my fave, talking about Morgoth and how he loved to 69.
They were so full of Christmas cheer, Joel suggested they go into the kitchen and grab a few beers. Then Joel said to Danny, not even abashed,
Hey man, would you like to get trashed?
But Joel, it's Christmas Eve.
Well, if you don't want to party, you might as well leave.
when all of a sudden a window did shatter, and a brick flew in, and a shape crawled in on a ladder. Danny and Joel did loudly exclaim,
"Oh, what the fuck?"
Dude, super lame.
The boys waited anxiously and stood resolute, but then broke into smile as jolly St. Nick brushed off the broken glass from his red suit.
Ho, 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 it is I, the giver of gifts. Sorry for my entrance, I had to take a lift. The reindeer unionized and now won't work Christmas Eve. And get this, they even want paid medical leave.
I guess good for them.
That sounds smart to me. Well, the elves are indentured, so I come bearing presents. Come see.
Danny and Joel stepped close to Santa. By the Christmas tree he was lit.
Can we hurry this up, though? I gotta take a shit. Well, what do you want for Christmas? Ask for anything. A puppy? A train set? Or maybe a shiny new ring? Oh, I don't know. A PlayStation? No. 100,000 bees.
Danny looked around at all the broken glass on the ground.
Just a new window, if you would please.
Santa looked kind of dismayed, perhaps regretting the card he had played. Santa stood up tall, and his face was hot.
Well, you're getting rings, whether you like it or not.
From the front lawn, a clear voice they did hear.
"Stay this madness!
The wielder of the flame of Anor is near."
Gandalf burst in the front door, and with one mighty strut, he moves across the floor and kicks Santa square in the nuts. St. Nick gave a cry, and his knees they did buckle. Then Gandalf went to work with brass knuckles.
Come on, Gandalf, it's Christmas. Don't be a dick.
I don't know, man. This is pretty fucking sick.
Santa laid on the floor, beaten and bloody, with tears in his eyes.
"It's Sauron, you fools. You fell for his lies.
All I wanted was to give super cool rings to you guys.
Those rings are of evil magic advance. Whoever should wear them, 50% of farts will end with shit in your pants."
Then Gandalf drew down, and with his bare thumbs, gouged Santa's eyes, making Sauron abandon his fair disguise.
"Why with these boys have you had such dealings?"
Oh, they make fun of me on their podcast and it hurts my feelings.
Joel and Danny were amazed at what Gandalf did next. Some Bush's baked beans appeared in his hand, and to Sauron he force-fed the whole can. And to his fingers he magically bound the two shiny rings. Sauron quaked on the ground. Then with his staff, Sauron he violently hit.
"Where's the weed, Sauron? Give it, you shit."
The wizard smelled the bag to make sure it was ganja, and cried aloud,
"Fly, you fool."
for that was his mantra. And then Sauron took flight, his shit-stained pants illuminated by the soft glow of the moonlight.
"So passes Sauron, may his pants always be poopy."
Then Gandalf held up the weed and said with a smile,
"Now it's time to get loopy and smoke on this chronic. This shit's Carndum Kush hydroponic."
But Gandalf, is that safe to smoke?
"But really, is it any good? I say we roll up and take a small toke." Now, say what you want about Sauron, he may be a twit, but he always really did have good shit.
Danny, Joel, and the wizard rolled up. They drank and they smoked all of Sauron's bomb weed and had a great Christmas indeed. For days they partied like they had never partied before. They had beers and drank whiskey and took rips off the bong, as if Gandalf had been their best friend all along.
All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was thoroughly ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed it.
We had a lot of fun. We had to do a couple takes before we could actually do it straight-faced.
Yeah, it was fun. And thanks to like we said earlier, Joe, for helping us write it, and then also our buddy Trever Dunlap, who came to do the voice for that.
Yeah, thanks, Trevor, for joining us today.
Yeah. He's not here for the rest of the episode, but he's here for the bit. Because
we couldn't do that many voices ourselves.
Movie Magic, we recorded that bit earlier today.
Whoa.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the this year's 2019 KOT holiday special, guys. Happy holidays to everybody out there.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, hopefully you have a great season. This is also the last episode of the run here.
Yeah, so we hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be coming back to you in the spring or the late winter.
Well, if you're from Minnesota, it's late winter. But yeah, spring for everybody else. Yeah, so probably like March or April probably. We're not sure yet, guys, but we'll get back to you on it. Enjoy the holiday season and enjoy your off season without us. I know we're gonna enjoy the shit out of our off season.
Oh yeah, we're gonna relax. But as always, thanks for listening, guys. Be sure to follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter at KOT Podcast.
Yeah, and if you want to follow me personally, I'm at Danny J. That's JAYKOT. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/officialkeepontolkien. And also join the KOT Talk group that's on there. You can ask us and other listeners direct questions. And we also post some funny memes and stuff on there sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Also, if you're more of a visual person, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Keep On Tolkien Podcast. And then, of course, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts at that website.com/Keep On Tolkien. And stay up to date on new episodes. And while you're there, be sure to give us a rating or a nice review if you like us.
Yeah, if you don't like us, that's fine too, but just don't be so vocal about it. Thank you so much for giving to the Patreon. And if you're interested in subscribing to our Patreon, it is www.patreon.com/KOT Podcast. And Patreon is a subscription service that helps to support us because KOT is a 100% DIY podcast.
Yeah, the podcast ultimately it comes out of our pockets to get it all put together and put it out on the air. So donations really help us so much to make sure we can get this work done and keep at a consistent quality that you guys expect.
Yeah. Think of it as a little tip jar if you're like, those guys are cool and I want to support them a little bit, maybe do a subscription. Also, you can cancel whenever. So if times are tough or whatever, you can cancel your subscription at any time. But while you have that subscription, you are also privy to exclusive content that we record. Also kind of fucked up, but that's there for you. Exclusive content on Patreon.
Yeah, we like to have fun with that content, so it's always kind of not safe for work. Just a little heads up.
Yeah.
But that's about all we've got for you today, guys.
Yeah, we're going to miss you in this off season.
But we'll be back, don't worry.
For season fucking 5, right? 5?
Yes.
This is forward to it now?
Oh, God.
Yes, season 5.
Season 5.
Yeah, we'll be back for season 5, guys. We've been renewed. We
got the green light from Netflix.
Yeah, we got our Netflix green lighted us. We called them up. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun today, guys. I'm Danny J.
And I'm Joel N. And as always,
keep on Tolkien. All right, and to Luva.
That was
unique.
That was an adventurous one.